individuals, people of color, and different sexes are discriminated against in the work field. Due to this, they cannot receive equal opportunities. So, between 1997 and 2007, 16,000 to 19,000 annual complaints were filed compared to 20,000 and 25,000 filings per year since 2008, according to the EEOC. This is showing that workplace discrimination is a huge problem and it is still occurring today at a more alarming rate. So, looking at the stimulus packet, I saw the Rosie the Riveter piece. It was created by Howard J. Miller in 1940 and it was used as propaganda. It promoted women in the workforce, and this sparked the beginning of women being equal to men and creating less sexism. I also looked at The Wealth of Nations, which was written by Adam Smith in 1776. This lays a foundation for most of today's economic ideas and gives an idea why some jobs are paid more than others. So, the Civil Rights Act was written in 1964 and it protects the rights of people of color. It protects the outlaws discrimination against race, sex, and religion. It was called for by President Kennedy and it eliminated the Civil Rights Act of 1875, which gave more rights. Also, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is a federal agency that enforces civil rights in the workplace. It was founded after the year of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and in 2016, over 90,000 charges were filed alone, showing that workplace discrimination is a problem. So, according to the American Association of Retired Persons, 64% of people have witnessed age discrimination in the workplace. Also, employers want to have more energetic, faster, and younger people to employ. So this is one of the reasons why there is age discrimination. Lorna Lean, an economic and social writer, wrote a story about how a woman named Jane, a bartender, was fired because she was too old. She filed for workplace discrimination, and then a younger woman was hired to go in her place. This is showing that these problems can even lead to lawsuits in the courtroom. So, also according to Brookline, 26% of blacks and 15% of Hispanics have been treated unfairly in the workplace in the past 30 days, showing the dramatic effects of workplace discrimination. Cezina Vega, a racial inequality writer, states that it is proven that Hispanic and African and also Asian-sounding names are passed up in the work field. And an example of this would be when people are filling out applications, white-sounding names will have a better chance of getting the job than people with these names, showing racism in the work field. Even though the EEOC protects these rights, discrimination still occurs. Also, Vega wrote a story about how a woman was banned from her job because she wore dreadlocks. This case went to court and it did not go in her favor. The court said that this was not an act of racial discrimination, but the EEOC says prohibition of dreadlocks in the workplace constitutes racial discrimination because dreadlocks are a manner of hair culturally associated with African descent. So this picture shows, this is from the CNN Kaiser Family Foundation. This shows that 69% of blacks and 57% of Hispanics say that past and present discrimination is a major reason for these people facing problems in their racial group. So, Crosby Burns, a writer for LGBT issues, states that 90% of transgender individuals have witnessed discrimination in the work field. That is almost 100%, and that is a huge problem. Also, jobs refuse to hire people based on their sexual identity, and homophobia and religious beliefs are a motive of this. In this picture, you can see that the man is saying, just let me know how his gayness is affecting his office productivity. And this is showing that people try to connect people's sexuality with their workplace, and this is a reason why people do not receive equal opportunities. So, according to a Pew Research survey released in August, most American men think sexism is done and over with. This is showing that sexism is a problem and many people ignore it. Some men believe that women are not as strong as they are, and this is one of the reasons why sexism exists. Sexism can even lead to suicide in some cases. Rickleen wrote a story about how a Virginia firefighter committed suicide because she was given so many sexist remarks in her work field. This is just showing how drastic these situations can be. So, the First Amendment protects the freedom of speech and religion, but some people go far with this, which allows for discrimination to happen. Hobby Lobby wouldn't give birth control to their female employers, and this was used as people saw this as an act of discrimination, and they wouldn't do this because of their religious motives. And Matt Dunning, an economic and social writer, he wrote that in 2015, when gay marriage was legalized, many employers were confused and conflicted on what rights they should give their employers because LGBT issues conflicted with their religious views. So my counter argument is people believe discrimination isn't a problem because there are laws that protect it, like the EEOC and the Civil Rights Act. People are also unaware on what and what isn't discrimination, but the people that think this are groups of people that I haven't mentioned and they haven't had discrimination towards them before. And Dunning also states in his writing about LGBT individuals that Title IX does not protect LGBT individuals, so this makes people think that it's okay to discriminate them. So one solution could be to implement new laws. This will reduce the amount of discrimination in the workforce, and it would allow for more equal opportunities. But a limitation to this would be that laws take a while to go into effect. Another solution would be promoting EEO flyers. This shows that the company values diversity and it would allow for more people to be employed. But some jobs can put this down due to obligation and they might not really accept diversity. And if these solutions went in place, discrimination against race, sex, and gender would be lower.
Okay, a couple questions, Sid. The first one is, how did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process? And did your research go in a different direction than you had originally planned or hypothesized?
Well, I included many different perspectives from people of different races, different genders, and different sexes. And I feel like my research question, I felt like it would be stronger if I had different perspectives, and that's what changed throughout. Like I would find more sources about each different one.
And then did your actual research go in a different direction than you originally thought it would?
I didn't think it went in a different direction because I wanted to have the same amount of information for each perspective because I didn't want one to outweigh the other. So I tried to keep everything like the same amount of information for each perspective.
Okay. And then your second question would be, if you did have more time, what additional research would you conduct related to your issue?
If I had more time, I would conduct research in the types of opportunities that these individuals have about why they're not equal. Like I would look more into the economic lens and see if like paychecks and wages would go into this and see how like paychecks and wages with like different races and different sexes, like how that connects to equal opportunities.